I want to start with sharing a core principle of mine in business and life, and that's if something can be automated and get the same result with the same quality, then a person shouldn't spend time doing it. And if you can delegate tasks and they get done well enough, maybe not the exact same as you would do, but good enough, then you should delegate those so you can spend time doing the things only you can do or that you should not delegate, such as spending time with your family. One book every business owner should read is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. His approach to delegation is next level. For example, how many $15 an hour tasks are you doing yourself because it's easier? You'd rather not pay for it, or you do because you feel like it would take less time than teaching someone else how to do it. Reading that book will change how you think about delegating. And there are many things that could be automated, especially related to marketing and bringing in new patients. The more you automate and delegate, the better your business, relationships, and life will be. To grow your practice and increase your collections, you need more leads, more booked appointments, more people walking in the door, more people signing on to care, and more people following through with and continuing care, and of course, more referrals. And you can do all this without increasing how much marketing you do. Obviously, more advertising and marketing activity will significantly increase all these numbers, but even without that investment, you can get more new patients, referrals, and reactivate past patients using automation if it's done right. And if you're doing any advertising, you definitely want to make sure every step and process is designed just right so you get the best ROI out of your marketing. I bet anyone running ads could improve their results by implementing some of the automations I'm about to cover. Real quick, I just want to let you know a couple things about me that really sets me apart from everyone else in this space. I've been doing digital marketing for more than 20 years. I founded my own marketing agency. For several years, I was brought in by billion-dollar brands around the world to coach them on their innovation practices, including getting the right product market fit and then add millions and millions of dollars to their bottom lines. I switched from helping all kinds of businesses to marketing for chiropractors in February of 2017, starting with my own chiropractor. And now we work exclusively with chiropractic offices across the US and Canada. All right, enough about me. Many years ago, I read a book that completely shifted how I thought about online marketing. A key concept was that the goal of online marketing was to turn traffic you do and do not control into traffic you own. And at first, that sounded like it was missing the mark. I worked with small business owners and needed the marketing to generate leads and customers. What does that even mean? Turn traffic you do and do not control into traffic you own. Well, let's start with traffic. In online marketing, this would be people exposed to your marketing content who then, go to a website, a landing page, or other destination like a YouTube video. So traffic you control is when you pay to get in front of people with advertising. Think Google ads, Facebook ads, or for companies with deep pockets, that can mean radio or TV advertising. Traffic you don't control is basically people who organically show up at those places. Again, could be your website, your Facebook page, your Google business listing. Basically, you had no personal control over those people arriving there. Maybe they were referred to you. Maybe they searched Google and your website or Google listing showed up because Google controlled that, and where you appeared for that person's search. You aren't paying ads for these people, but you also have no control. And you certainly can't interact with them unless they choose to contact you. Now, traffic you own, that's a list of people and their contact information that you can communicate at a time you decide and in the manner you choose. Once you own that contact information, you don't have to pay anyone to interact with them, and you can do it over and over. Think of this like a Rolodex, or if you're not old enough to know what that is, it's a database of contacts similar to what you have in your phone contacts. It's important to capture people's name, email, and phone in a CRM or database of some kind so you can contact them on your own and when you want without paying for ads to reach them. Traffic you control, right? So if you don't have the ability to communicate by phone, text, or email, then you're left hoping they learn about you somehow or remember you and take the initiative to reach out to you. That's leaving your success up to chance. As Tony Robbins says, we're the creator of our lives, not the manager of our circumstances. If you're the type to take responsibility for what happens in your business and how that affects your staff, your patients, and your family, then it all starts with setting up a CRM database and then using it. Obviously, what really matters is real live people coming into your practice and paying for your care. However, acquiring more traffic that you own is what drives that result. Marketing automation and CRMs are just the organized version of what you already do, so you don't lose leads, waste time, or forget to follow up. This means getting more people, leads or contacts or whatever, in a database, having more interactions with them. And those can be calls, emails, texts, website chat, or social media messages, inbound and outbound communication, especially follow ups with interested people. This will produce more new patient appointments. And the result for you of implementing this in your practice is more weekly patient visits and overall collections. All right, let's talk about some common challenges that chiropractors face. First off, most chiropractors don't have a pipeline of new patients. You miss calls and lose leads. Your website doesn't generate as many calls and appointments as it should. Of the leads you do get, you may be wasting 71% of them. Forbes, Harvard Business Review, Inc., they've all done extensive research and have found that only 27% of leads ever get contacted. And if they do get contacted, it's not fast enough or often enough. Typically, no one picks up the phone to respond to a lead for the first time until 46 hours and 53 minutes later. If you make that call within 5 minutes, you are 10 times more likely to reach the person than if you waited just 5 extra minutes. Let me repeat that. You will reach 10 times more people by calling within 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Just waited 30 minutes before calling that lead. Most offices would feel very proud of responding to leads within 30 minutes, but they would reach 100 times fewer people. Let that sink in. If you call a lead within 5 minutes, you will reach 100 times as many people compared to waiting 30 minutes. Yet, with a combination of awareness, best practices, and technology, companies can contact around 92% of leads. An increase from 27% to 92% is an increase of 341% in results just by responding immediately and persistently to leads. Imagine going to Nordstrom's on a Tuesday morning, asking to talk to a sales rep about a pair of shoes, and the salesperson says they'll be happy to help you Thursday morning. Most companies' follow up is so bad that an entire industry of lead response management has been created to fill that gap. For most chiropractic offices, your front desk is reactive instead of proactive. Basically, they're not following up on their own and only interacting with prospective patients if they call the office during business hours. You don't stay in touch with past patients or leads. You don't even know which conversations are getting missed. And if you do, then you're either typically late in following up or don't follow up. And you don't have a way to keep the conversation alive with potential patients before it's too late. Ultimately, you don't make it easy for new patients to come in and receive your care. Many small businesses, especially chiropractors, go through seasons, and right now is winter for a lot of them. Having a database to contact is like a squirrel storing nuts for winter. You can contact past patients who've dropped out of care and get some of them back in. You can contact interested people who never actually came in. This applies to all businesses, so many business owners I've spoken with, I've had to instruct to start collecting emails, even if they don't do anything with it. And if you don't have that, you really can't contact past patients or people you've talked to, or maybe even booked but never came in. If a person calls you and ends up booking, you want to send them confirmation messages and reminders. These increase their show rate, and if you send the right message, it can even increase their likelihood to accept your care and recommendations. There are always patients that fall out of care for one reason or another. If you don't have their contact info, you can't initiate them coming back to your office, and you're stuck relying on hope that someone decides to return. If you want to announce new treatments, new staff, or maybe product or supplement lines, you need a way to communicate that. If you had leads respond to your marketing, but they didn't come in for some reason, if you don't have their information, you can't follow up later to see if they're finally ready to come in. Even if you don't have anything to communicate, or time to set up automated messaging. Once you do, you'll want to already have their information. There's a saying, best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So, what are some of the opportunities of using a CRM database? First, you need to organize it beyond just a list of names, emails, and phone numbers. And that comes from the automation and using it throughout your online marketing. Having a pipeline list of potential patients at various stages, uncalled, called, booked, showed, and, marked as sign on or lost. Treat this like a sales pipeline. The goal is to move each person to the next stage from wherever they are at that moment. You know, Weekly emails to stay top of mind. Educate, be helpful, build trust, generate referrals, announce new services, announce office changes, reactivate past marketing leads. Just about every doc I talk to has worked with multiple marketing companies to varying degrees of success. We had one client switch to us, and we were able to import his list of marketing leads that didn't come in and send out an email and text blast that also got a bunch of those people to come in. Also, a bunch that said no thanks, but just that one automated campaign of names he already had generated. How many leads have you accumulated from your website and other marketing that never came in? What if doing this sort of thing quarterly generated some new patients every few months without spending more on advertising? How much collections would that add for you? Once you have a database, then you want to get more people into your database. That consists of leads and patient lists. And let's talk about opt in forms. If you have a website, give options to call, but also provide a lead capture form. A great incentive for them is to give their information is to offer a new patient special. And if you're running paid ads, don't send them to your website, which has lots of detours and distractions. Send them to a special landing page where all they can do is fill out that form. Marketing automation software typically can create landing pages. Send traffic from ads to that because you'll get more leads that way. Again, no detours, no distractions from moving forward. And landing page software allows you to run landing page tests to increase the percent of people that opt in. That basically means, creating two variations of that page. They can be significant or they can be small, but basically the system automatically allocates, randomly people to one page versus the other so you can see which one ultimately gets more people to, sign up or opt in or move forward. And you want to continually test new ideas, video versus having an image, the type of image, having a logo or no logo, the words on the button to take action. All of those things are testable. So one of my, I guess, favorite tests was simply testing the color of the button, that gets them to submit the form. And all it had was a red button and a blue button. You wouldn't expect much difference, but you always want to be testing. And it turned out that the red button increased the opt-in rate by more than 20 points. What that means is if 100 people went to the page with the blue button and 100 people went to the page with a red button, then the page with the red button got 20 more people to sign up than signed up on the blue button page. So if you're running any paid ads, traffic you control, right? And through a series of tests and improvements, you were able to get 20 or 30 extra people coming in compared to whatever results you're currently getting. Wouldn't that be worth implementing? Remember, always be testing. And on your website, make it easy to call you. This webinar is not about how to better design your website to get more patients from it. I covered that in a past webinar, but this is about integrating automation to get more results and improve your ability to measure your marketing. So on your website, have a phone number that's only shown on your website and nowhere else. You can use marketing automation software to set up different tracking numbers and make it so they forward to your office line whenever someone calls them. But when you assign one number to a website, a different number to your Google business listing, another number in your ads, and if you advertise on multiple platforms like Facebook or Google, then different numbers for each of those different platforms, then you'll know the source of how those people found you. And typically, this type of software can record calls too. Ours does. This often results in excellent coaching opportunities for staff to improve their interactions, including getting potential patients booked. All right, let's talk about online scheduling. On your website, provide an online calendar. People don't want to request an appointment, they want to book an appointment. We want to make it easy for them. Same goes for people that respond to your ads. People are on, if you're doing social media, they're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all hours of the day. They're in the car waiting for kids to get out of school. They're in the doctor's waiting room. They're in the bathroom. They're in bed at night. And if they see your ad on social media, they just want to book the appointment and move on. This is based on people's preferences, logistics, and past experiences. Remember how only 27% of businesses respond to leads? So if a person really wants to get in to see a chiropractor, not a referral, right? They aren't looking for you, but they come across you and they want to see a chiropractor, they're going to need to keep trying until they actually have a booked appointment. Submitting your request form doesn't cut it. Some will submit the form, some won't. But either way, unless they were a referral, they're going to pursue other options until someone books their appointment. So, some of the benefits of having online booking, you'll get more marketing leads to book and show. You'll reduce staff time trying to chase down leads. And just remember, if you don't take away anything else, remember, people don't want to request an appointment, they want to book an appointment. And automated communication doesn't have to feel impersonal. You can write your messages that you would typically say, and they're friendly and caring, and you can set them up to send programmatically. It's the sending and consistency that's automated. The most critical communication to get more new patients coming in is your follow up. If you call your marketing leads within 5 minutes, you'll prevent the need for much follow up. To ensure that happens, have a system that will automatically call your new leads and connect them with your staff. You'll increase connection because they're more available when they signed up versus when you felt like calling. Well, you or your staff. What if you let all your calls go to voicemail and you let your staff call back when they felt like getting around to it? If you reached 100 times fewer leads, would that increase or decrease your patient visit counts and collections? All right, let's talk about new leads for a second. Book by text and email every couple days to book their appointment. I've literally read people reply thanking the office for following up after they still hadn't booked their appointment after responding to an ad over a week earlier. There's a saying in sales, the fortune is in the follow up. Every single one of us puts off things we need and want to do. It's helpful when someone pings us to take that next step. Emails and texts can be automated. There's no reason staff should spend time writing or sending those. Let their time go towards the replies and the phone calls. By the way, no one likes talking to AI over a human. That's where a person really can add value. And new appointment communication is a great way to build rapport, connection, and trust to increase the shows and accept your care recommendations. And once they book, your automation system should automatically send them confirmation over text and email, including their intake forms, and setting expectations along with the date and time of the appointment so they can add it to their calendar. And you definitely want to send reminders about their appointment beforehand. SMS or text is super important, not just email. You can set expectations for what's going to happen during the initial visit. If you provide a report of findings on day 2, you can give them hope and build anticipation for the first visit. Make sure it's at least 24 hours in advance. Personally, I also like sending a 2-hour reminder because you never know what might have someone's attention in the moment. I have personally missed an appointment only once, but it's because I lost track of time. I'd seen it that morning when I reviewed my calendar, and I wasn't even a new patient. My appointments are every other Monday. But stuff happens. This sort of communication is very helpful and will increase your show rates. And if people cancel or they don't show to their appointment, the best thing is to call them on the phone right then and there. Next best thing is to send automated text and email trying to reschedule anytime. And an integrated marketing automation database will enable you to have more conversations with past, current, and potential patients. ultimately resulting in more patients on your schedule. All right, let's talk about phone calls for a moment. You know, with automation, there's tracking, like I talked about, there's recording. Of course, there's, laws and regulations. You have to make sure people know about it. But recordings are a great way to identify coaching opportunities and improve patient acquisition. And you can't improve what you don't measure. And that includes missed calls. When you have these tracking numbers set up, if you miss a call during lunch or after hours, or even during regular hours, yes, it happens sometimes, we set this up to automatically text the person back to get them to respond and continue a conversation. For your existing patients or even their referrals, they'll just leave a message and it's not a big deal. But new potential patients, they're on the hunt for a chiropractor, they'll just call the next chiropractor on the list, typically on Google. In the future, that's going to be AI. Being found from AI is a whole other topic I covered on another webinar. But this way, you don't lose people who want to book or have a question before booking. Maybe they come to your website on a Friday or their lunch hour and you're closed. They have a question before booking. They call. For some reason, you don't answer the phone and you don't have a phone service making sure you don't miss out on potential patients who call you. Most of those people are not going to leave a message and wait for your callback. They want to make a decision now. Existing patients, sure, they'll leave a message, usually. But someone who has not come in before will just click back and call the next clinic on the list on Google, because that's most likely how they found you. When it comes to someone looking for a chiropractor, you want to make sure you don't turn them away. So the best option is to answer the phone the entire day your clinic's open. Next best is to find a good company that can answer your phones when you're closed. And even then, you still want to have a good automation that can see a call was missed and text that person back to keep the conversation alive. Some offices are better than others about making sure their calls are answered, but there are times that calls get missed. So don't let that turn into a completely missed opportunity to help a new patient. For the offices we work with, we set up an automated text message to the number of the missed call, acknowledging the office missed call and asking, how they can help. This way the person can reply, and as soon as someone is able to see the messages in the app, they can reply and move the conversation and the patient forward. Speaking of texting, let's talk about two-way texting. Many offices do have this. Some do it ineffectively by saying if you want to call, then use a different, use one number. But if you want to text, then use a different number. And if you text them and they need to call you, either to discuss something over the phone or maybe call while they're driving, say they're running late or they can't find your office or, maybe where to park or whatever, it's easier and normal to tap the call button at the top of the message. A, who wants to have to go look up a number when you just texted them? And B, if they're driving, how safe is that? I can't fault anyone who doesn't know better or didn't think through that user experience. I fault the companies selling such a product and not helping you make a seamless experience for your patients. And if this was you, now that you know, make the decision and take action that creates the better approach. When it comes to technology solutions or designing processes, make it easy on the patient. Now, on your website, you want to provide three key contact or action options prominently and throughout the website. Book an appointment, call, or chat. On your website, if a person has a question they need to ask and they either don't want to call on the phone or maybe it's at night or the weekend, installing a chat widget on there enables them to ask that question without, simply leaving and going to another chiropractor's website. Now let's talk about nurturing. You can't wait until it's important to you to start to engage with your database. You need to maintain that connection that keeps you top of mind through valuable, helpful content. Then, when it's right for that person, they'll take the initiative to contact or respond to you. You can't ignore them. Then, when you want to get more appointments on the calendar, reach out and expect them to respond. Stay top of mind. The more times you communicate with them, that's more opportunities for them to think about you and even respond to you. I've seen those responses as well. They'll get the weekly, content or helpful article, and it's like, hey, do you have any appointments next week? So, the methods for this basically send like a weekly email with helpful educational content. sure, it's fine to offer sales or, hey, we've got this new supplement, announcing things, but you really want to just take it from an approach of being helpful. So, here's something that can help with, say stretches for sciatica or whatever, or educate them. So another way is to have helpful videos distributed in a hybrid fashion, so your entire community sees them regularly. Not a set it and forget it, but you should do one video a week, and then you can send an email with a link to that video. Reactivation campaigns. This is for your past patients. Marketing database can automate a reactivation campaign to past patients by email and text, so you get more people who already know how great you are to start coming in again. It can also re-engage past leads that came from your marketing, maybe from ads or your website. Maybe they opted in for something but didn't come in. And then you've got your email marketing. You can also send weekly or monthly emails with helpful information about different conditions to keep you top of mind with potential patients while also enabling you to inform them of all the things you can help with, beyond just neck and back pain. Include current and past patients on those emails too. Either they may not know everything you can help with, or they may forward that on to a loved one who could benefit. If you add new treatments like decompression or shockwave to your office, you now have the ability to send everyone an announcement about it, and especially if that means you can help with problems you weren't able to before. By keeping in constant communication in some way, you'll stay top of mind and be who people contact when they need or are ready for your care. Email marketing applies to your entire database, even if they never came in, if they're a current patient or stopped coming in. All right, I want to talk about the new patient survey. I see, review requests, but I don't often see people sending out a survey. So once a patient signs on, send a survey asking about their experience. This shows that you care. My grandmother earlier this year actually had to go to the hospital twice. So she went to one. I'm not going to name the hospital. Had a whole, did not have a good experience there. And the next time she had to go, she went to a different hospital. The second one sent her a survey within just a couple few weeks, asking about her experience. A bunch of questions. The other one did not. Which one do you think showed that they cared? Which one showed that they did not care? Not by the action they did take, but by the action they did not take. Sometimes things like this don't even occur to people, especially chiropractors. You were never taught how to run a business in college. You're having to figure it out as you go. But now that you know about this and some of the other things I'm telling you about, now not doing something is a conscious decision and behavior. And it leads to an outcome or impact that most likely could be better if you just implemented these automations. All right. Now let's talk about generating online reviews. You will automatically request patients to leave reviews on Google and Facebook and other relevant directories like Rate MDs. I know there's a popular software out there that gets Google reviews, and Google is the most important one. But there are others that are important because if a person, for example, Googles you, they're going to see a list of relevant website results. Your website will be one of them, probably your Google listing too, but they'll also see Yelp. They'll also see Rate MDs. They'll also see, potentially your Facebook page. And so you want to make sure you have, a number of good reviews and ratings on all of those sites. All it takes is ignoring one, like, again, Rate MDs, for example, or Yelp, and having one bad review, because Yelp, they like to hide the good reviews and they like to show the bad ones. So all it takes is one bad review and one low score, and it looks like you've got really low ratings, and it makes a person think twice. So yes, you want to request reviews on Google, but yes, you want to request them on other platforms too. So after you send that survey, then send the review request. The best timing for that too is after their third visit, essentially their first regular visit after the day one and the reported findings. So think about it. The improvement they experience between their second and third visit is likely much bigger than between their 11th and 12th visit. It will be significant to them. They're more likely to leave a review, and what they write will have much more depth. So start with Google, But do way more than just Google reviews. Set up your automations to leave a review on Google, but then have a delay of 2 to 3 months and automatically request a review on Facebook. Then wait and ask for Yelp. Then rate MDs and then, other medical provider review websites. This way, when, not if, but when a person Googles you or asks Siri or their preferred AI about you, you have lots of good scores and comments about you. You don't want one bad review to tank your score on any single platform because that can negate all the positive reviews and make a person think twice. Now, if you use a system like ours, all those communications are in one single place. If your staff is having to go on your Facebook page, they likely don't ever, or check their email. And if you have a texting system, then all these are in different places and likely getting ignored. And if you don't have a texting system, then you're really missing out. So our system collects all those new patient communications that are in one single place to check, making it easy to respond quickly so more people end up booking and coming in. The way to think about this is you're just one automation away from transforming your practice. All right, when it comes to installing and using automation, follow these design principles. Make it easy on the patient. For example, instead of telling them to go to a website page, then click this, then click that, just send a direct link to that final destination. In your appointment reminder texts, include your address, at least for your day one visits. And make sure you set up automated processes to ensure you and your staff follow up with new patient leads. That applies to the ones that booked as well as the ones that didn't. And if you want to make sure, you think through everything and do it well. Think about how the other person is going to process your message. Make sure the message is very clear to the patient. Evaluate each step of each process and make sure you're not overlooking anything and you count for various scenarios. And the last principle you should adopt is automating various processes and communications across the entire patient experience, from that first click or communication until, well, forever, really, such as, sending regular emails out. If you're seeing the benefit of having automation, but maybe technology is not your strong suit, you may not know where to start. You don't even know how it works, just what it does. Much of this is just communication, but scheduled and triggered automatically. And your front desk will actually have less to manage. You could go the route of figuring out and doing it all yourself, or you could delegate the work to an expert in this space, especially that's refined this specifically for chiropractors. We have, a system that we've really, worked with and refined over many, many years of working with chiropractors, and it really solves for the entire patient experience. So you could install that plug and play system, just into what you do already. So remember, you want to automate and delegate as much as possible. You can even delegate the automating. So again, we've been doing this for over 8 years. We've been, adding and improving and just making it so much better for new patients, for chiropractors anyways. And until now, this has only been available to our clients that also have us run their marketing. But we're actually opening this up to any chiropractor who wants to get more patients, save money, and make it easier on their staff. So you can join the wait list and get more information once it's available at go.growyourchiropractic.com/waitlist. And I added some times on my calendar in case you want to set up a one-on-one time with me to talk about this or have me review your systems or marketing or have a chat about possibly having me and my team handle your online marketing so you get more new patients. There's no pressure, no obligation. However, I can help. Just scan the QR code or go to growyourchiropractic.com/schedule and book a time with me. All right. You can connect with me and follow us on your favorite channels. And if you have any more questions about all this or online marketing, just reach out to me. At Sebastian Mueller is my personal Instagram, and you can check out our page or channels under, Grow Your Chiropractic. And that's all I have for today. I hope you got some actionable items out of today. If you'd like to talk about us having handled this or any of your online marketing, for you, we can do that. Just go to growyourchiropractic.com/schedule or scan the QR code and set up a time to talk with me personally. I'll be happy to help however I can so you can achieve your goals. Have a great day.